How's it going, garden people? Welcome back to the Hidden Gardens. We're deep in midwinter here in my Zone 7 garden, but that definitely doesn't stop the gardening journey. There are so many garden paths that you can follow along a gardening journey. You could be houseplants, ornamental gardens, succulents. The list just goes on and on and on. Container gardening, vegetable gardening, you name it. And seed starting is just another one of those garden paths, and it's definitely a fun one to follow. I highly encourage you to fall down the rabbit hole of seed starting videos that are out on YouTube, both new and old. My biggest observation is that it comes down to preference. What you prefer. Are you growing cut flowers? Are you doing vegetables? Do you want to start those inside, or do you have enough space to do that? How much space are you going to have planting it outside? Do you want to winter sow? What kind of soil do you want to use? Do you want a nice seed starting mix pre-made, or do you want to make your own? It all comes down to preference. It's a simple task. Seeds in the soil, add water, watch it grow. But it's the fun of making it complicated and enjoying it that makes that garden path such an irresistible one. If you're just starting out, start small. Do something that you're going to grab a easy success, a good, fast, quick win. And I say that for a reason, because in seed starting, it can get overwhelming in great ways and not so great ways. You can have a lot of fun getting a whole bunch of seeds at the store, but then you plant all these seeds and all these seeds grow, and then you have a whole bunch of plants and no place to put them. So make sure that you're setting yourself up for success, because you're going to have a lot of failures along the way. That's any gardening path and every gardening journey. There's going to be so many failures that you're going to get to learn from. And I guarantee you are going to have to see so many plants go down, but that's nothing in comparison to the amount of plants that you get to see rise up. Most of the time I'll use vermiculite, and that seems to help with moisture control as well as preventing algae growth and dampening off. The important tools that you'll need: something to keep them wet. You'll want to keep them wet on the top while they're germinating, and bottom water once they pop up. You need something to mark what they are. Definitely always mark what they are, because you won't remember. I use these plastic tags and a garden marker, and then at the end of the season I use alcohol, and that just cleans everything off, and then I can reuse it. You'll want some thinning snips. Those work really well to get in between the little seedlings, and definitely thin your seedlings, because again, you'll end up with way too many plants. And then I'll keep the little yellow sticky traps on hand, and usually by the time the little bugs show up, it's about time to kick the plants out of my house anyways. And that's probably the most important thing that I have found, is to keep your seed starting and your seedlings in an area that is accessible and that you want to go to. If you don't want to go down to your icky basement to tend to your seedlings, you're not going to. So make sure that you keep your seed situation in a place where you enjoy going. Now, touching on these pretty little seed packets, that you will find yourself in a nursery looking at racks of beautiful flowers and sexy vegetables, and you're going to want to grow every single variety. You're going to grab a whole bunch of seed packets on the random few garden center trips that you take, and the next thing you know, you are going to end up with so many seed packets and no way to be able to grow them all in 1 year. So you'll need a place to put them. I've found that this like trading card type of way works well for me. This way I can see when they're expiring, what varieties they are. I can put them in alphabetical order. I can add pages or take away pages as I, get varieties and take varieties. So this works well for me as far as a seed bank type situation, where I keep the majority of my seeds in these tubs. Now at the beginning of the year, I can go through all of my varieties, pick out what I want to grow that 1 year, put them into these 2 small tubs by the weeks that I'm growing. So 12 weeks before my last frost or 10 weeks before. But again, it all comes down to preference, how you prefer to keep your seeds, how you prefer to start your seeds. But it's still a garden path that is so worth taking. And after about 2 days or so, the status came up and the stock wasn't far behind it. Most of this stuff I'm growing for the cut flower area. And some midwinter arrivals add to the packed greenhouse. As the temperatures warm up, I'll move these guys out, and that'll give me lots of space for all the little seedlings that I'm starting inside. Another observation that I've come across is it's super important to thin your seedlings. Thin your seedlings and then go back and thin through them again. And when you do that, do it like one little tray at a time, like one little 6-pack, and then come back later and do another little 6-pack and just thin slowly, but definitely do it, because I promise you, again, you will end up with a whole bunch of plants and nowhere to put them. I'm starting a mix of annual flowers, both to decorate around the property, as well as cut flowers to hopefully make some nice bouquets for the shop. I'm sowing vegetables to put into the vegetable garden, as well as a few perennials, which is always a great idea. Especially perennials take forever to kind of get up into more of a mature plant. So it's always good to start a few perennials every year. Though most importantly, grow what you're going to use, what you want to see in your garden, what you're going to use to cook with, what you're going to want to cut and bring into your home or see out in your garden, planted and growing. It's your gardening journey, and you get to decide what you want to do and what your preference is. So if you've made it this far, I hope you'll consider subscribing so that you can see all of these little seedlings as they grow up, and it helps the channel. It's free. And I hope that this inspires you to continue along on your gardening journey. maybe venture along the seed starting path. And thank you for coming along on mine.